tardiness. We'll call the meeting to order at 1:04. We have had one addition to the agenda. We're adding section 14.3, report CD 2020-02, convenience store LCBO outlets to our agenda. Are there any further? Yes, Kate?
Sorry, Bill, it actually should read 2021-02.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's my mistake.
Okay, I'm glad you corrected it. Thank you very much for that. A little bit of common sense on my part would have realized it without you having to do that. I'm sorry. So it's the corrected addition then would be report CD 2021-02. So with that, are there any other additions to the agenda? Seeing none, then I'd like a motion, please, to confirm the agenda.
Scott will move.
Thank you. And I see Mark's hand seconding. I can't see everybody on my screen, so we're going to have to, I guess we're going to have to call it. All in favor, Scott,
Yay.
Pat,
Yay.
Mark,
Yay.
Larry,
Yay.
and I vote yay, so that motion is carried. Declarations of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof. I would ask if there were any. Seeing none. Hearing none. We'll have that duly noted. And that moves us to section 5, public question period on agenda items only. Does our clerk know if we've received any written questions?
Mayor Kane, I have not received any requests to ask a question.
Could, just looking on my participants list, I don't see any members of the public. So I'm going to, I hear nothing in a couple of seconds. We'll move on. So section 6, presentations and delegations, we have none. Section 7, public hearings and meetings. Section 34 of the Planning Act, zoning bylaw amendment report, Fed EA 08/20, Roy Hercock. The agent is Linda Gowling, dealing with part lot 9, concession 2, the condition of provisional consent, B06/20. Do I turn this over to you, Sandra?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you hear me?
I can, thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Please, the council, I will go through the process of the public meeting. As you have said, this is under the zoning bylaw. I will be giving my planning report, a synopsis of my planning report, and the entire report is available on the township website should anybody wish to review that. The floor will then be open to the public. Please make yourself known. Well, we have a list of people who wish to speak. The order of speaking is as follows: those persons in support of the application, those persons in opposition to the application, those persons seeking clarification, and the applicant or agent will have opportunity to speak at the end should they desire. Please note that all persons wishing to speak to the application must address their comments and questions to the mayor, and we advise that before speaking, you must clearly and slowly state your name and address so that the clerk can ensure the record is complete. Council members may make comments or ask questions as they deem necessary, and the bylaw may be entertained at a later point during the regular meeting of council. Council makes a decision, their reasons for their decision, and the impact of public input will be provided by the council members. Those persons requesting a copy of the notice of decision must do so in writing to the township, myself. You can send an email, or you could drop a note in our drop box on the left side of the front door of the municipal office. As you said, Mr. Mayor, this is application ZBA 0820 for Mr. Hercock. Linda Gowling is the agent. It's recommended that the zoning bylaw amendments be adopted by council. This would rezone the severed portion of the property into urban residential first density zone, and it would rezone the retained portion to special marginal agricultural, recognizing the setbacks of the buildings on the property. The notice of public meeting was circulated to the neighboring property owners on January 25, 2001. The signs were posted on the property on or about January 29, 2001, in accordance with the regulations of the Planning Act. As council heard while they sat as Committee of Adjustment, this application was for a lot creation of one new residential lot in the urban settlement area of Baltimore, and at that point it was heard that the provincial policy statement and the township official plan policies were all being met with respect to this proposal. There were just a couple of detail matters under the zoning bylaw. Parent lands, as they sit today, are zoned marginal agricultural, and the marginal ag zone requires a minimum of 5 acres of land and just about 200 feet of frontage. Proposed residential lot would not meet these parameters and should be zoned urban residential first density to recognize the lot frontage and area and to permit the reduced uses of urban residential uses versus agricultural uses. It should be known that this particular lot will have 0.28 hectares or 0.74 acres of land and 30 meters or 98 feet of road frontage, because the property will be serviced by municipal water. It will not be serviced by a well. One new single detached dwelling is proposed, and that does conform with the permitted uses. With respect to the buildings on the retained parcel, the house does not appear to meet the minimum setback requirements. It did receive a surveyor's real property report, and the house enjoys a front setback of 12 meters from Hercock Road and an exterior side setback of 17.03 meters from Nagle Road, where a minimum of 20 meters is required for both provisions. This specialized zone just identifies the non-complying status, which is lost at time of consent. But otherwise, the proposal is in keeping with the rest of the marginal agricultural zone provisions. Agency comments: Township Public Works, Building Department, Conservation Authority, and the County of Northumberland all had no objection to this application and were supportive. In conclusion, in relation to the provincial policy statement, Township Official Plan and Zoning Bylaw, and the outside commenting agencies, it's the opinion of this department that application ZBA 0820 generally meets the intent of all planning documents, and a bylaw has been prepared for council's consideration. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Sandra. So I would ask if there's anyone present in support of this application that wishes to speak today. Hearing,
Agent Dowling was to be included in this meeting. I don't know if she's able to listen in.
Mayor
I
Kay, yes.
raised my hand.
okay, the agent here will obviously assume that she is in support, and if there's any questions.
And I raised my hand.
Oh, I'm sorry, because of our limited Zoom technology, I can only see 4 people on my screen, so I really can't
Sorry.
meeting. So yeah, I apologize for that. We have the limitations, so Linda, you can go ahead.
Oh,
I can see you.
there. Now I'm here.
Hello. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Would you like to make a statement of some sort, or would you like to?
I'll just make one. I'll make one comment concerning the special marginal agriculture zone. The house that is currently going to be non-compliant was built before bylaws ever existed in the community. And in fact, Nagle Road wasn't even there when the house was built. And in fact, Hercock Road was in a different spot. So it's really just a circumstance because of historical, the house existed before the other roads and the bylaws existed.
Okay, thank you. Sandra, you can speak to that if you wish, but I believe that's just a matter of a minor variance, correct?
Yes.
Well, rather than the minor variance, Mr. Mayor, we are going forward with the zoning bylaw. It could have been in a minor variance if we didn't have to rezone the new lot, but because we're rezoning the new lot, I suggest throwing everything into one document rather than doing two things.
Thank you. So what's going to be covered today?
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else, Linda?
I know that's it. Thank you.
Okay, then I would ask the next question. Is there anyone on the line who is in opposition to the consent? And again, you will have to speak up. Identify yourself, please, if there anyone is present, because my screen doesn't allow me full visual. So hearing none, I'll ask if there's anyone present or on the line, I should say, who's seeking clarification for this matter. And again, I hear none. Members of council? Questions? I see head shakes. Anyone willing to go forward with this then? Thank you, Larry. Have a mover. And Pat, seconded. Any further discussion? So all in favor then? I can see you all. Hands will do. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Sandra, do you need something else?
Reasons and impacts, please.
Okay, it was consistent with the regulations of the provincial policy statement. It fulfills the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. There were no objections from the public and nobody intends to make objection. And it fulfills, it meets the official plan.
Okay, thank you
Is
very
that-
much.
Is that appropriate enough?
I think so, thank you.
And then that matter is concluded. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sandra. We'll move to,
I'll be sending a notice of decision to Ms. Gowling in the very near future.
thank you. Move to section 8, planning bylaws. So we have bylaw 2021-05, Hercock, condition of provisional consent, B06/20. We'll need someone to move and second that bylaw 2021-05 being a bylaw to rezone a portion of property in part lot 9 concession 2 to urban residential first density and the retained lot to special marginal agricultural -41 to recognize the setbacks of the existing buildings on the property in fulfillment of condition of provisional consent, file B06/20, be given first, second, and third reading, finally passed the 16th day of February.
I'll move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mark. Seconder.
I'll second it, Larry.
Thanks, Larry. Discussion from members of council. Yes, Pat?
No, I was just putting my
sorry.
pen.
Moving your screen. Okay, sorry. Another problem with Zoom technology. No communication on this one then. All right, I'll call the question. All in favor? And I can see everybody, so hands will do. Thank you. That's carried 5-0. Section 9, adoption of previous council meetings and the committee of the whole meetings. 9.1, a mover and a seconder, that the minutes of the regular council meeting held January 19th, 2021 be accepted.
Scott will approve.
Thank you. And I saw Larry's hand go for second. Any discussion on that? Yes, Larry?
Yeah, just on, am I live? I'm live. On item 6.1 of the meeting minutes, the water rate study and fees. I'm just hoping that we can get staff to start planning for the formation of that committee. I just want to bring that forward just so that we don't forget about it. That's the water committee,
Yes.
to find solutions for infrastructure funding.
Okay, I'll let the clerk jump in if she wishes in a minute, but we are pushing forward with trying to find funding. We have had a meeting. The clerk was present and the CAO with our MPP, and there's another meeting upcoming. So this hasn't been pushed. This hasn't been pushed aside.
No, I don't. No, I wasn't inferring that it's been pushed aside. I just want to make sure.
We are moving forward with it. With Kate, any further input?
No, we are still looking at the setup for the committee. There aren't a lot of small municipalities where we can kind of take a look at their terms of reference. So we're still kind of looking at that because other municipalities have large systems, have different parameters they're looking at. So we're still working on that and hope to get something back to council, to the coordinators committees soon.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr. Mayor.
Anything else for members of council? So we have a motion to accept the minutes. So I call the question, and again, I can see everybody again. Hands. That's carried 5-0. Emily, I have the agenda up on my second computer here. So unless you're switching for other people, if you're only switching back and forth for me, you can keep it on this multiple screen. I don't know if other members of council need to see the agenda or not, but just for your information. So we're at 9.2, the minutes of the special council budget meeting number 2 held on January 28th. A mover and a seconder, that those minutes be adopted. Moved by Larry, seconded by Mark. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried 5-0. 9.3, minutes of the committee of the whole meeting held February 9th, 2021. Mover and a seconder, those minutes be received. Thank you, Scott, and seconded by Pat. Again, all in favor? That's carried 5-0. No other minutes. Business arising from those minutes. 10.1. The committee of the whole of February 9th. That was the delegation from Mr. Brady read the billing of fire bill that he received due to the fire on Clark McKinley Road. Is there some kind of input from staff to start our discussion? Or do you want me to just open this up to council?
Through you, Mayor Kane, I don't believe there's any further input at this point, unless just any questions directed from council to staff.
All right, then we'll open it up to council members for discussion. Start with you, Scott. I see your hand.
Thank you. I was just wondering if we could get a consolidated report. We've had information, yes, I realize that, but could we get a consolidated report, chronological order of the situation here, including how we bill out per fire truck in relationship to our costs, our fire equipment, I should say, in relationship to our costs, or where those numbers come from?
Yes, we have two choices. I can try to stumble through this. So I have some idea of it, but I believe that we have our Director of Emergency Services on the line with us, and to probably be more appropriate. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Kelly, but I will go ahead with this if you want, but I think you should have the first opportunity.
Mr. Kane, I was wondering if we could have an actual written report by fact work to council and have it circulated to us so we can have a chance to review in advance to our decision.
Yeah, it would have been nice if we'd had that request a week ago. We could have had that, and then we could have gone forward with it. Mark?
I was, to be honest, I was expecting the same thing that Scott's asking for. I mean, I was surprised that it wasn't on our agenda, and since Monday was a holiday, it limited our contact with staff to get a report of any sort. So I too would like to see something in writing so that we have something to fall back on, and a detailed report on where all those costs came from, and I really want to see whether we have done this in the past or not. I don't think we have. I don't remember doing it before. But
Yes, we have.
Have we? Okay.
Sure. Yes, Arthur?
So through your Mayor Kane, we can prepare a report to bring back to council if they want written information to pursue or to review rather. We did not prepare a report because that wasn't, we were waiting any council direction, whether they would proceed on the basis of the presentation made at the Committee of Adjustment, or if they'd like more information. And if you'd like more information, we could come back with that, again, written report.
Yeah, well, in fairness, we heard from Mr. Brady, but we did not get a presentation. I don't believe our fire department was asked to bring that forward, so we didn't really get a presentation from them. And in all fairness, they deserve to have. I mean, we have Mr. Brady's side out there in the public, and we've had some emails and phone calls about it. But by the same token, we've not had the opportunity to put forward, our own case as to what happened. I have a very good idea, of course, but so my next question would be then, when would that report come forward? Who would submit the report? And when would we be able to then go forward with a decision on this particular incident?
So through you, Mayor Kane, the clerk Suarez can correct me, but we would be bringing back a report for the next council meeting with detailed information, and then allow council to make a decision at that time. We would defer this, receive the item from Committee of the Whole, and direct that a report be prepared for the next council meeting.
And we would receive that information prior to the council meeting so that we could be versed in it before the meeting started.
Correct. We would have that as part of the agenda. It would be in receipt, and you'd have that information for your consideration. Yes, through Mayor Kane.
Okay, so I have Pat's hand first, Mark, and then you.
Okay.
I was only going to say that with the initial presentation, we got a report at that time. My only concern is that if Chief Saracen's understanding of what kind of breakdown we want and what we actually want differs, I wouldn't want this to get put off again. So I'm hoping at some point there could be extra consultation with Chief Saracen to make sure that he's giving us the detail we need.
Okay, I'm sure he will. Mark?
I was hoping we could send this to our coordinator group ahead of time so they'd have opportunity not only to see it, but so the rest of us could see it. And if we do have questions, we'd be able to go from that report directly to Kelly before it came to council meeting.
Councillor Lushan, through you, Mayor Kane. Yes, that would be, while I did not state that, that would be our normal process, yes, to bring a draft report, make sure everything's included, and then bring it for council for discussion.
Great. Thank you.
That would be protective services.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Yep. Anything else for members of council? So
No.
what, then I would say we're looking for a motion to defer. Do we need to add to that motion that we're waiting for the report? Or simply ask for deferral?
Again, through Mayor Kane, I think to be very just clear on it, defer the item and request a report be brought forward to the next council meeting.
All right, so we're looking for that motion. That was just stated by our CAO, moved by Larry, seconded by Scott. All in favor? And that's carried. So it's been deferred till our next meeting. 11 committee reports. We have minutes of the Joint Animal Control Municipal Services Board meeting held in January. Motion to receive. Thanks, Larry. Seconded by Pat. Thank you. All in favor? Anything arising from that? We have minutes of the Environmental and Climate Change Advisory Committee meeting held January 21st. Motion to receive. Thank you, Scott. Seconded by Pat. All in favor? Thank you. Anything from that to be drawn? Yes, Pat?
I just wanted to make a quick comment that we've only had our inaugural meeting, but we've got a very, very interested group of citizens, and I think that we're going to be bringing forward some interesting things to council.
Encouraging. Thank you, Larry. I saw your hand as well.
I was just going to say that I would hope that we could, council and staff fully support the committee and their initiatives for 2021. It's new and it's exciting, and I think it's we all have to get involved in that, and I really appreciate that going through. Thank you.
We're normally a pretty supportive group, Larry, so I'm sure that there's a chance that could happen. We're looking at 11.3 minutes of the Police Services Board meeting held September, October, and November, and December. Receive for information, please. Thank you, Mark. Seconded. Need a seconder. Thanks, Larry. All in favor? And that's carried. Any discussions on any of those 4 meetings? See none. Section 12, Public Works and Infrastructure. We have the 2020 annual summary reports, OREG 170, Schedule 22. Now be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Hamilton act as follows. The Council received the report WTR 2021-001 for information, and that Council acknowledged receipt of the report. Thanks, Larry. Seconded by Pat. All in favor?
Mr. Chair, I'd ask for a recorded vote since it's dealing with water.
I'm sorry. Right, so we need a by call of then. All in favor, Scott,
Yay.
Pat,
Yay.
Mark,
Yay.
Larry,
Yay.
Bill, yay. Motion's carried. Section 13, Recreation and Facilities, there is no report. Section 14, Corporate Services. We have 14.1, Report T 2021-07, read the Efficiency Fund status. Looking for a mover or seconder that Report T 2021-07, Efficiency Initiatives be received, and the council approves the projects identified in Report T 2021-07 to be funded from the Efficiency Fund. Moved by Larry. Seconded by Pat. I'll call the question. All in favor? Good. Was there any discussion? All right.
Oh.
Yep. Pat.
I don't have the agenda, the agenda in front of me. Is this a section that talks about the new application for public input?
Yes.
Okay, I was just curious as to whether you'd mentioned a couple of other municipalities that were currently using it, if they had had any feedback on it.
Could we get a comment from staff? Would that come from Deseret?
To you, Mr. Mayor, I would refer this question to our deputy clerk.
Thank you.
Through you, Mayor Kane, Councillor McCourt, yes, many of the municipalities that we consulted in review of this had very positive reviews. Town of Cobourg is actively using the Bang the Table application and is very happy with the amount of response and engagement that they're receiving from their members, from their ratepayers. Alnwick Haldimand is also very new to the application, but they are also very happy with what they've seen in their 1 or 2 months of already using it.
Okay, thank you. I look forward to anything that gets us better participation.
Anything else on report T 2021-07? Okay, thank you. I believe we've passed that. I called the question. Yes.
Yes, you did.
Yes. Nazareth?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, because one of these projects is related to water, should that be recorded?
Another recorded vote then. Thank you. So I'll call the question for a recorded vote. Scott,
Yay.
Pat, we're calling a recorded vote.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, everybody froze at my end, so I didn't know what was going on. Yay.
Larry,
Yay.
did I get you, Mark?
No, you forgot all about
Sorry,
me.
sorry. Mark?
Yay. I'm a yay anyway.
Okay, thank you. And I'm always last. I'm yay as well. So that motion.
No, I'm always last. I skipped it. I skipped the beat there.
Oh dear. 14.2, report BLDG 2021-01, building stats 2020 year end. A motion to receive the 2020 building permit statistic report as well as the fourth quarter monthly statistics.
Also move, Scott.
Thank you. And seconded by Pat. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried 5-0. Report 14.3, which is CD 2021-02, read the convenience store LCBO outlets. Excuse me. Is there some input from staff, clerk or deputy clerk? Yes.
Bill, so the just a little bit quick background on it is the fact that the LCBO convenience store outlet program sent a notice out this year, and there was some confusion as to who had approvals on what holidays because they entered into the program at different times. So I spoke with all 4 convenience stores 2 times on Friday afternoon, as well as the LCBO program, I'll call her the program coordinator for the outlets, who explained it a little bit more. And so I decided to pull together the report for all 4 for the statutory holidays that they are permitted to sell wine, beer, and spirits. And so that we had the approval in one report, and then they can send this on to the program coordinator to show them that they've got the approvals for actually this year, next year, if council supports the recommendation based on how I have it. There's no defined date. So it just goes and rolls with the outlet program, and they're under a 5-year contract. So then they'll probably, when they renew it, we'll have to do it again for the term of the next contract.
Okay, thank you, because this did seem familiar. I thought we had done this before, but I guess we did it in fragmented sections. So you just brought it all together. That's what you're telling us.
Yeah, we did it in 2020 by a report in January, February, and July, because they all kind of came on just slightly different times.
Okay, thank you. So we need a motion then to that effect?
Yes, so I broke it down, and I'm sorry I didn't copy it all onto the agenda, but the report itself has a resolution or a recommendation for each store separately, but we can do it all under one mover and seconder.
Okay.
And so the holidays are Family Day, Victoria Day, Canada Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving Day, Civic Day, and Boxing Day, as required by the Retail Holiday Business Act and the Government of Ontario.
Thank you. So are you moving, Pat, or do you have a question?
I have a question. Does the motion need to include whether or not we're doing it till the end of their contract?
No, I discussed that with the convenience store retail. If we wanted to, we could put that in here, but that contract is actually between the convenience store and the LCBO program.
So the motion itself then would stay in effect until we take the motion away.
Correct.
I don't know if you take a motion away, but I think you know what I meant.
I know.
I will make that motion now, Bill.
Thank you. And Larry, you're seconding? Okay, any further discussion? Yes, Larry.
Should we consider that we put in a term that it's under current ownership in case a convenience store was to change ownership? Does that impact anything there, or should we just keep it the way it is regardless? Just
Yeah.
the store?
The Harwood Family Variety changed hands. So in 2020, the prior owner was the one that applied to the municipality for municipal support. The current owner has a 6-month temporary, whereby, and that's what they do when they have changes of ownership, is that because that gives them 6 months to get all the paperwork transferred. They still, yes, they have to apply, and that's what the new owner has done here. And so we could say that, but again, that transition falls under the convenience store outlets, and they have a transition period in place.
Okay, thank you, Pat. I guess then that motion stands the way it stands the way it's written. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Good. So we have Pat as a mover. Do we have a second?
Yep, Larry.
Yes, Larry. Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure if Larry was, I actually just wanted to ask a question when he put his hand up.
No, I'm good on that.
Okay, thank you. So we have mover second. Any further discussion? Call a question then, all in favor? And I see 5 hands. Thank you. We're moving to section 15, emergency services, no report. 16, communications and announcements. We have 16.1 through 16.5. Let's get them on the floor with a mover and a seconder. Moved by Larry, seconded by Mark. That correspondence listed at 16.1 to 16.5 be received for information. So before we vote, anything to be withdrawn from 16.1 to 5 that you'd like to discuss, Council? Yes, Larry?
I'd like to discuss, am I on? Yeah, 16.3, the news release from MPP Piccini. I just wanted to see if everyone else agreed that does it state there at the end of his news release that there is $10.2 billion allotted to the ICAP fund. And then it goes on earlier, he says that we can accumulate over a 5-year period for large infrastructure projects. Does that indicate that we're going to be receiving $308,000 yearly for the next 5 years? I know I'm a little confused about that because he said we can accumulate the funds or each year over the next 5 years. So would that be included in the 10.2 billion?
To you, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, please.
This means that we need to spend the fund within 5 years.
So the accumulation would then be considered interest on investment? Would that be?
Right, we do earn interest on this. And we have to report it to them on a yearly basis where we identify exactly the amount of interest we earned.
Okay, so it's only the 308,000.
So 380, that amount we are going to be receiving in 2021, and that was part of the budget that was approved by council last month. We received this notification sometimes in December, so it reflected in our budget.
Okay, so this isn't something it's newly received then, is it?
No, we were aware of it in December, and it reflected in our budget.
So the 10.2 billion, is that the amount that or the ICIP, is that what we're going to be looking at going to submit an application for the water?
Right, so we are going to be receiving $308,000 for 2021, which is funding our roads project as per the budget approved by the council in January of this year.
Are we applying any of that money? I'm just asking the question. Are we applying any of that money to the water?
No, we are not applying any of that money to the water. One of the reasons is if we reduce this funding for road, property tax is going to go up. And because water users are also property taxpayer, their rates will also go up with the entire municipalities.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anything else from members of council? From 16.1 through 16.5? Okay, I'll call the question then. All in favor to receive? And I see 5 hands. Thank you very much. Motion is passed. 17, our bylaws, bylaw 2021-08, reschedule J, water. A motion, please, that bylaw 2021-08 being a bylaw to amend the fees and charges bylaw Schedule J be given first, second, and third reading, and finally pass the 16th day of February 2021. Thanks, Scott. Seconded by Larry. Is there any discussion?
Recorded vote again.
Yeah, calls another recorded vote. Thank you, Scott. So I'll call the question to you first, Scott.
Yay.
Pat,
Yay.
Mark, not to be skipped,
Yay.
Larry,
Yay.
and Larry, you'll notice that I'm actually voting last. Bill,
Yes.
yay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Notice of motions, we have none. Media questions on agenda items only, and I'm very unaware if we have anybody from the media in our group today. I didn't see anyone on our participants list. I think we can safely move on. Closed sessions, we do not have one today. Notice is required by notice bylaw, we have none, so we're all the way down to 23. Our confirmatory bylaw, 2021-09. We need a mover that bylaw 2021-09, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the February 16th, 2021 regular council meeting and to authorize its execution be given first, second, and third reading, and finally pass the 16th day of February 2021. Thanks, Pat. Seconded by Scott. All in favor? Carried. 24, motion to adjourn at 1:46. That might be an all-time record short council meeting. Moved by Scott and seconded by Pat. All in favor? That's also carried. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, staff.
Thank you, everyone.
Stay safe.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.